Alright, let's try this again. Hey guys, welcome to another Rise to War video. I'm hoping that the season's, in a sense, maybe 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out from wrapping up. I was in LOTR, and as you can see, we are on our last leg to stand on. It is Linden, Arnor, LOTR, Angmar versus... Pardon me, it's also Gundabad. So Gundabad, Angmar. Gundabad, Angmar, Arnor, Loth, and Linden versus Gondor, Erebor, Rohan by themselves, Mordor, Variags, and Rune. Hasn't been a great season as far as success goes. I took a break from my normal family group last. Weird way to say that, but they're not just like a team. They're more than that. And you know, without sounding too sappy, it feels good to be able to play with them. But I don't know. They're just, the wait was too long, and I kind of, in a sense, it was kind of dumb to say this, but like I needed to go back to RP just to remind myself like this is just not as fun as a non-RP. Not only in terms of limited mechanics, but it's just not as fun when you're not playing with people who are like really good friends and you've spent, you know, a year now being around. So hoping to get back with them next season. They've had a really good addition from a bunch of players, and I've had a chance to be on Discord with some of these people and spend time getting to know them over the last couple weeks, and it's just been a very nice thing. So anyways, enough of kind of that. So yep, we're losing here in Loth. We're probably going to get just an Explorer badge. I'm hoping, you know, I have not been getting, unfortunately, I've had a kind of a crap start. I ended up having a glitch burn up the first 18 hours of my 24-hour start. So I've only been able to get about 5, not the greatest excuse, but I've only accumulated a 500,000 prestige. You can see our resources here. Our power production per hour is kind of low. Well, thankfully, most of our buildings are already done and unlocked. There's a few things here that I haven't touched, like our battlements and Bowman Tower and basically this, but the rest of it's maxed out. As far as commanders go, we were starting with, you know, my first season back in RP in a while, so I was using GTG, and I kind of forget how limited he really is in certain circumstances, and without running him Elk GTG, he kind of fell off. So and then I was running Faramir too, especially Loth Faramir, and I really like him. I think I'll always continue to like him, but I'm going to be refunding his unique at the end of the season. And it's probably like, what are you, crazy? You've got an R20 Faramir, and normally I run him with, you know, Hunter's Guide Aegis. I run him with a typical hammer, and then I keep a Hunter's Mark Wizard Fireworks on him just so I can catch other evasion commanders like Gil and GTG. That being said, he just doesn't do it as far as the meta goes, and as much as I love him, there comes a time when the commanders you play are so eccentric and don't work out that you start inconveniencing your team. Like, if your team can carry you, that's all fine and dandy, but if there are other commanders you could play, even ironically at like much lower respect, like when I go back into non-RP, I'm going to be getting soon enough to R5. All my gear I have for Faramir can go right on her, with the exception of the chest piece, which I'll use a Ranger Shroud. I look forward to getting him to R5, and the thing is, I'm not going to take them any higher than R5, but getting them to R5 are going to be two very meta commanders. I'll be able to go back to using GTG very, very comfortably. And I've not had to, but I've chosen to main Gandalf the White this season. And I had 3 gigantic hammers, but I finally got a Ren substat, which I'll use in Sunin for next season, and I've been working on that. I finally got Tactical Maneuvers Mithril Coat, which I've crushed my barrier one into this, so I'm working on upgrading this. And then I finally did get our 5th and final refine on our Aegis Helm, so now it's guaranteed Madness and Stun, which will go on my Gandalf, which will be very strong as far as moving in. And I did get a couple extra refines on the Mirror's Reign, so that's been a pretty fun thing, running him Cav Commander. Granted, I've been getting kind of hard shut down by Dunes occasionally, but I've been holding my own well against Saurons for the most part, Witch Kings for sure. Been holding my own against many other commanders. there have been other stuff that shut me down. My Gandalf the Whites are 9, so it's been nice to kind of pretty much take all the points I want to take. I don't know if I would go back into 2 points into reinforcement. If I had an R15 Gandalf the White, I'd probably go for this. But on the other hand, I was thinking maybe go into Champion of the Light, but we've been fighting both good and evil factions, so I've been trying to keep myself spec'd more universally so I don't have to keep re-rolling 20 gems into it to fix it as needed. I'm kind of hoping, well, not kind of, I'm hoping that our enemies, you know, Erebor, Gondor, Variags, Mordor, just take the ring soon. I'd really like that to get us into the, you know, the countdown. Not saying it's going just to do it now, but I sure would like to kind of get back into bag end, just relax, chill, and then start working on, I don't know, kind of getting my gear together. I say that, and I kind of already have what I want in mind. I've also been using Dwalin again. I can push my Dwalin to R20, which has been huge. I finally got a cleave axe with 2 refines on it, so that, I mean, and I've got a 3rd one, I just need a 4th one, so I'm working on getting this max refined. It's been really refreshing to have a Dwalin damage commit, because I really like King of Men, but King of Men, man, just does not pull his weight with the gear I had on him. It's basically this, although he would have an anti-burn chest. But the Dwalin, you know, Dwalin R20, level 50, I get everything that you could want, and then the only thing is just maybe, you know, ideally R24 just to max out Longbeard, but I won't do that because I'm trying to tone down my spending. That being said, I've got a Cask of Pride, which was in the Season Season Pass, which I actually like the substat. I think the substat is interesting against Elk or Reaper bombs, at least in a sense. I mean, the defense melee would be better against Reapers, but definitely the melee suppression against Elk bombs, which ties in with my Superior Hauberk, and obviously his R5, you know, for the burn reduction and the army physical damage reduction. And then, yeah, I've been working on a Fiddle of the Eldest with Blitz, which I have 2 refines on. I'm trying to get that up to max. I've been very happy with this, honestly. I've been waiting all season, and then I literally pulled 2 chests that had little Blitz fiddles in it. Pardon me, just fiddles in general back to back, and I was able to actually get a 2-star refined. So it's actually nice that you get 50% only a 2-star refined, because I think that's kind of high in my opinion. Obviously I want to get it to 100, but I'll take what I can get. I've actually been really digging this critical care pipe. Granted, the HP melee only works for, well, the HP army only works for melee, but I do like the critical care. I do like the really big honk and chunk of focus. So I will be using that. I'm kind of hoping I get a chance to play Isengard start. I haven't done an evil start yet, but I'm really interested in doing that. But anyways, I did tinker around with, literally just in the last few days, because I had a bunch of extra fragments. I did tinker around with Gimli's axe to get some refines in, get some strengthens in, so I might give him a shot next season. We'll have to see. I don't know if I want to run 2 damage con, that's a little expensive, but at the very least, if I can maybe get Gimli up to like 40 before the end of the season and have some fun using just like this to see how he does. We'll see how we're feeling, because otherwise I will just say, you know, junk this axe, save the fragments, and just keep this, because this honestly to me is set. He's really set with this. The only thing I would see maybe doing would be to throw a Hysteria helm on him, which I have on Gimli at the moment, and then maybe eventually like a Brutal helmet with Dread. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'd rather have the Hysteria for the bonus HP for just blanket army, and then for the every 2 rounds for a madness chance. But I really do like this Cask of Pride when fighting other physical damage, especially because I've been running him with Dwalin with Guardians, Tower Guards, and Dunedanes. Yeah, that kind of blankets it up. Thoughts are what I want to do with the account. I'd like to... I'd like to get more refines in here. I'd like to get this fully refined. I don't think... I'm trying to tone down my spending, so I think these 3 helmets will be what I stay at for a long time. I'm just going to try to get refines in here. I was working on a second Aegis, but after watching another person with 4 out of 5 refined still catch badness and stun, I realized it's just silly to do that when I can get a fully refined one. So this is very satisfying to have this done. As you can see, I have a whole slew of purples. I try to double and triple up. Yes, I'm a spender, so I don't expect people to replicate this, but 2 Hysteria helms and a ranged Vigor. I have 3 Resolve helms and working on a mounted Vigor one because eventually, if we do play a Rohan season, I would like to be able to have mounted Vigor. And it's a really silly thing to want, but I would like to perhaps have this for like a season start kind of thing, although probably should just run Brutal Helmet instead, but we'll see how that goes. My hands are pretty good. Like my weapons are pretty good. I'm going to stay with the 2 gigantic hammers. My goal will be to try to refine the rend up more. Otherwise, just getting this cleave max refined is going to be my goal. And then from there, we'll see how it goes. I don't really think there's another weapon out there that really screams interest to me. Perhaps the GTW one, but I just would be like, well, why? I would never refine it, though, would be my concern. I would never refine it because I don't have the interest to put that much more money into the game. But yeah, I mean, the rest of it we've got plenty on. We've got our handful of carvers, handful of cutlasses. I really like this crossbow. It's a nice little offering. I could use it on Isildur. I could use it on Faramir. And then it's a good chunk of might. And then it does have the shatter, which I think is interesting. I plan on, depending on how many points I get end of season, I'd like to crush this into just Mithril again. And I'd like to crush my accessories. I'd like to crush these 3 into Mithril. This box of knowledge is interesting. I don't plan on hanging on to this. In fact, I'd like to... let's put it this way. I'm not adverse to it, but I'm more interested in just saving up pieces to refine these 3. Like I'd like to get a max refined pipe and a max refined blitzfiddle. I'm not so much interested to refine the Mirror's Reigns. That's not a big focus for me. Like I already got the 2 cheap ones in one of this. Like anything else is a bonus, but it's not as versatile as this. Like I have to run cavalry. Like I don't have to run cavalry for this to be useful. I don't have to run cavalry for this to be useful. So this does have a limit. This would be more faction specific. Like if we ran Rohan or Gondor to a degree. But yeah, so no, everything looks good. We're kind of at the point where now we're looking for just refines. You know, like I said, I'm going to crush the Ranger's Cape by Faramir, get all the fragments back, and I'd like to find a resistance version of this. Resistance version, or honestly Resilience of Archers, that would be cool too. Because Resilience of Archers I'd probably run on maybe Gil or Elrond if we ever kind of go there. Otherwise I'd just run Sunan with Resistance, and then Mithril Coat. Once I have that maxed, I'll be stellar. And just looking at the commanders, like I hope one day they actually do allow us to refund respect, even if it's like a 33% return rate. I would kill Boromir's respect. I'd kill all these respects, and then pop it into Dwalin. And then if I had to keep it T1, I probably would do Faramir, but I would just do Eowyn instead, because I really do still like Eowyn. The fact that she's got built-in stun immunity is huge, because you don't have to have an Aegis on her. You can just put the Resolve Horseman's Helm, and then she's completely debuff protection in that regard for a T1. I'd crush Legos respect. I love Elward here, but I'd crush his respect. I'd crush this. I would keep Arwen's, because Arwen is like 15, I think. 14. Okay, so we bit off. My GTG is kind of the pride and joy here, but I actually would like to do an Erebor season eventually, just another Erebor season, so I can run Falgin. In fact, do I have enough to get Falgies? I probably wouldn't even bother with Falcons, I'll be honest. Okay, I could. Yeah, my buddy Haas has got a really good Falgin. And it's just like, he's a cool commander. Let's see, his Haas is in here. They're good old Randy's. Haas's is not in here, but his is R15 with the fat unique, so he's pretty GG on that. Yeah, I would probably run... Yeah, God, I would love to play Airborne, just to get some variety in the commanders. Because I don't normally run. Like, I wouldn't run. It's just annoying because if you want to play a Manish commander, well, you have Gondor, Rohan, Arnor. If you want to play an Elvish commander, you have Linden Loth. If you want to play Dwarves, really, you only have Erebor, so it's really only one shot. So if you rotate, good. But anyways, how I would love to run, I'd probably go Warhammer. Honestly, he doesn't need anything, so let's just say he runs this. I'd probably run Manipulate Bone Mask because out of the gate he's running Mono Stack. And then I guess Drum Zamoria, suppose, but I think I'd rather just throw like a sustain pipe on him. And then I would just run him as this. I'd go right into Musician. I would go probably skip Level-Headed, go into Relief because you're running Mono Stack at the beginning. And then probably go into this, but then definitely into Eredwine firing formation. And then I don't screw with his R3. I mean, I get it, but I wouldn't screw with it. And then yeah, because for me, ideally, you get your bottom R0, you get at least this and this. I don't know if I'd really worry about they're well prepared. And then I would go right to Thrane's Guards, and then perhaps parry. But I don't even know if I would go into parry either. I do like the fact that it's just global damage and it's not physical, but we'll see. I wasn't even planning to talk about comms and stuff. It was more just the interest in... kind of catching up and the fact that I haven't done the video in a while. I really wish they'd add a... I love this song, or this music reminds me of like the Weather Channel. Which is such a weird thing to be like, oh, that's cool, but, you know, I'm an old man. I would like to run an Erebor season again just to see how things roll out, but I wouldn't mind putting in some serious work on evil faction starts. I would like to try an Isengard start. I would like to try an Ingmar start. It's kind of funny, like as much as I would love to run him with Arbalest, I'd probably still chonk him and go into Sunan. Especially considering I have, you know, a Blitz Fiddle. If I could get that higher refined, I'd probably run that at Sunan at season start. Either that or Mend. She's got the reserve skill that I think is really cool that I'd like to be able to get. But yeah, allied units, so it's kind of like critical care for free. But yeah, so that is just a video, kind of just a chill hangout and kind of catch up. So yeah, we'll see if we can update something before the season ends. Hopefully it's kind of in line soon because we've already been at it for, you know, I'd say at this point 5 weeks. 5 or 6 weeks, I think, because we're already almost done with February. But rock and roll, thank you guys for joining me, and it was good to kind of catch up and release a video, and I hope you have a nice evening. Take care.